San Francisco, without reigning NFL Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey dominated the New York Jets 32-19 to spoil Aaron Rodgers' return from last season's torn Achilles. Jordan Mason replaced McCaffrey as a starting running back. Fellas, he put on a show.
Yes, he did.
As for New York, let's hear from the Jets.
We expect greatness when we step on the field. There were moments, for sure. There were moments that felt really good. But not sustained. This is a tough opener for us, travel-wise and schedule-wise, but no excuses. We got to play better. I got to play better.
They whooped our ass today, and that's the reality of it, and we got to find a way to get better. The great teams will bounce back from this, and that's what we plan to do.
We'll be better, 100%. I'm not worried. Like I said, give San Francisco a lot of credit. I'm not worried offensively. I'm not worried defensively. We'll get it fixed.
All right, Jeff Saturday and his baby blues are here for all of you. By the way, I just want to say really quickly, what Garrett Wilson said, I felt like that's like exactly what you want to hear. No excuses, right? You saw how ticked off he was.
Yeah.
I just want to point that out. Jeff, do you feel like last night, was that more about dominant Niners or bad Jets?
Oh, dominant Niners. I mean, that team was prepared. Shanahan had an incredible game plan designed. I mean, if you think about how many people were wide open in the passing game, how the run lanes, formation were just incredible. I mean, listen, the touchdown that he scored in the third quarter, this is the play right here. I could have walked that. That's a 10-yard gap on the goal line. That just doesn't happen. That's because the angles that Shanahan put in for that blocking scheme. And then to top it all off, they physically manhandled them on both sides of the ball. The defensive front for the Jets, I didn't think would play nearly as well as I expected, but I fully expected the 49ers to come out the way they did. They had a great game.
Jeff, I'm going to defer to you, but I want to reveal what I said earlier in the show. I was incredibly disappointed in the Jets' defense. I think Salah's on the clock. I'm like, wait a minute. Offense, that's an issue. Okay, that's fine. Salah, I keep saying Robert Salah. I'm looking at the New York Jets offensively. You had Zach Wilson in the past. You really had Nathaniel Hackett as an offensive coordinator that a lot of people in the field deserved the job to begin with. Okay, fine. But defense is your thing. That's why you got the head coaching job. You was the defensive coordinator in San Francisco for 4 years under Kyle Shanahan.
That's right.
To go on Monday night, to have your defense in tow. I know you don't have Hassan Reddick there, but to have pretty much your defense in tow, knowing that you're going up against your former team, your former coach, with a bunch of familiar personnel that you also coached against when you were there as a defensive coordinator, practicing against them and stuff like that. I expected much better from the Jets defense that I saw last night, and that's why I looked at Salah.
Yeah.
I said, that's not good.
I agree. I did have expectations they would play better. In fact, I picked them to upset them. But when you saw the 49ers, their game plan was to physically impose their will, a lot of misdirection, a lot of bend back in the run game.
Yeah.
And listen, I mean, Shannon knows this better than anybody. That run game gets going, that whole offense, it's unstoppable. And that's exactly what happened. Once they started putting the beat down on them up front, it just opened it up. It's like Purdy was back there just chilling, just dropping dimes in there. I mean, he looked, if you flip the script, he definitely outplayed Aaron Rodgers, but because of the scheme. So, again, I think it's because of the 49ers' dominance much more than I think the Jets will be better as the season progresses. They got to get Reddick. So this whole thing with Reddick, like they let a lot of good defensive linemen go to keep or to sign, and then he's not signed or playing. Yeah. I mean, you got to fix something.
They gotta
you got to get bodies in.
Shannon Sharpe's on the big screen, guys. If we want to get your popcorn ready. Right there, Jeff. Right there.
Ready.
Look at those pearly whites. Somebody got braces.
It was dominant. It was dominant 49ers. And Saturday, if you go back and look at the clip that you showed, it's a hat on a hat. Yep. And look how far linemen are downfield with a hat on a hat. Look at the tight end. He's driving. He's 10 yards down the field. Yep. He got his man down the field. And you know in that offense, the wide receivers, you must block or you don't catch passes. It's simple. And the one common denominator of all the backs, Stephen, you remember I mentioned Terrell Davis and Orlando Garrett, Alfred Morris. The one common denominator is the running back coach. That's Bobby Turner. I've known Bobby Turner when he first got to Denver with Mike in 1995. He's been the staple. You get one cut. You don't dance in that system. You get one cut and you come downhill. You have no negative plays. But last night was about the 49ers and their will to dominate. You must be physical. If you want to beat the 49ers, you were just more physical than they were that day. You ain't gonna be just willy-nilly and just beat them to we go foo-foo fluff and because Kyle Shanahan's gonna call it, and his offense and defensive line, they go out to dominate. Their linebackers fly around. They got solid on the back end, but offensively, you tell me the offense that you saw this weekend that looked better than what the 49ers looked last night. Tell me one.
Absolutely, as far as coaching and execution. All right, Stephen A., tell me this. Now that week one's officially in the books, who do you think was the most impressive team?
For me personally, fellas, it was the Philadelphia Eagles. Because of Saquon Barkley and the dimension that he brings to the table for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts still got to work on his turnovers. You don't want to replicate last season, but we saw what he did 2 years ago. We know what A.J. Brown could do. We know what Devontae Smith could do. We know what that offensive line, considered the top 2 offensive line in the National Football League, what they bring to the table, along with Goddard out there as well. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, to have a guy like Saquon Barkley, somebody that you can dip and dunk the ball to whenever you get in some kind of trouble, somebody that can pass catch for you out of the backfield, somebody that can run in between the tackles. Unreal. He could be an every down back for you. What that does, not just for Jalen Hurts, but for the defense as well, because you're able to spell for them to some degree. They don't have to be on the field as much as in all likelihood, because you're generating an offense for them. You're doing those kind of things. So you're spelling for the defense to some degree. You're making the offense more potent, and you're safeguarding as a security blanket to some degree for Jalen Hurts. I look at it from that perspective, and I say, these brothers could make some noise. They tweak something here or there defensively, and the Philadelphia Eagles can win it all.
And you feel like they made the best move, let's be real, at the expense of my team's worst move in letting Saquon Barkley go.
Because they weren't going to win with Saquon Barkley, so why pay him?
They did what they did without the Offensive Player of the Year. They had a guy run for almost $150 who hadn't rushed for that many yards since high school.
Yeah.
And think about it. And they were only 2 of 5 in the red zone.
Yeah.
Ayuk had 2 big drops. He dropped a touchdown. Yeah. No, the 49ers on both sides of the football. Oh, nobody looked more impressive than that team. Look at those holes he's running through. Look at Debo blocking downfield. Oh, man. Look at this. Look at the holes he's throwing to because they're so afraid of the run. And you got to have – look at these holes. Look at this. Come on. Hey, I could have ran. I wouldn't have got 150. I'd have got 35 yards with 2 repaired hips running behind that offensive line.
Where are you?
He's flashing back to Detroit. I mean, to the Denver days. He's Bronco day, right? He's flashing back. Mike back in the day had them boys rolling like that. Go. I'm gonna go. I like both picks, but I'm going Detroit Lions. Yeah. And I will say that I thought they played probably the toughest opponent of all of them. And so I would say, as I look at what they were able to do. And the overtime drive for me, not only does Goff move the ball down, they kick a field goal to tie to go into overtime. They win the toss. I think it's 6 of 7 or 7 of 8 runs and just basically run it right down the middle of the field and score a touchdown. Here's why what I love about the Lions and Dan Campbell and the way this whole organization is put together. Their quarterback doesn't have to play great.
Right.
He can just be – and this is no shot on Jared Goff. So everybody out there, I respect the way he plays. I'm not trying to knock Goff at all. He can carry. But at the end of the day, he kind of – like Campbell built his teams very similar to how Parcells did back in the day. Okay. Like
You're saying it's not all on
That's
him.
right. It's not all on one dude, right? Yeah. Like when you saw the Jets, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play well, they're not going to win.
You're done.
Right? Like, And so – and listen, I put an offense that was quarterback-centric, right? If Peyton Manning doesn't play well, we're probably not going to be nearly as good. But the way Campbell has designed this team – and they go big boy football.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's nasty.
Here's the only reason why I would push back on week 1. You're going up against the Rams team playing for the first time without Aaron Donald, who's retired. Right. And you also got Puka Nacua that got hurt.
Sure.
And so as a result of that, I'm just saying, those two things, I'm just talking about in terms of most impressive compared to San Francisco or Philadelphia, whatever. That's the only reason
he went up against a good coach.
I'm impressed with Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
He went up against probably the better coach than these other teams.
And I think the Rams are legit. And I think Matthew Stafford played about as well as you can play. And by the way, the Rams shut down Amon St. Brown and Laporta, right?
I'm not taking anything away.
So, like, they went to James and they went to their run game. Like, they found a way to win.
But I gave you 2 big components that's missing from the Los Angeles Rams.
But one's not coming back.
I know
so
that.
let that one go. That one's over.
But
that's like the whole Reddick thing with the Jets. That's the whole Reddick thing with the Jets. All those guys are gone. You can't say who's not there.
I'm just saying
Come on,
week
that's
one.
ridiculous.
The first time playing without Aaron
the
Donald.
Jets have a whole new defensive line because Reddick's in there and they got 3 or 4 of them left. Come on now. Come on. Nah. Go ahead.
Stephen A.
Yep.
What the 49ers did, it got you questioning the bad man. You said it's a sign of things to come.
I'm talking about that defense. I didn't say Aaron Rodgers. See, I'm misquoted.
Whoa.
Shannon Sharpe has misrepresented me. I did not say Aaron Rodgers. I said, yo, that defense.
No.
That's what I said.
You do realize they didn't have I don't even think they had 200 yards. And you talking about that? You talking about you're not concerned about the offense?
Right. I'm not. I believe because
they did that too.
I believe in the Jets, just not against the 49ers.
You know what I believe in for the Jets is I believe they got a favorable schedule about the next 4 weeks. Thank the Lord.
You know what's interesting, guys, really quick before we go to break, about your picks in terms of the Lions and the Niners, and obviously in bringing up the Eagles, and they look special having the new weapon in Saquon Barkley. When you look at the coaching matchup, though, you don't trust Nick Sirianni as much as you trust Shanahan, I think, or even Campbell.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know?
I mean, you think, but Campbell, they had Shanahan on the ropes, bro, and he did. You know that at the end of the NFC Championship game,
no question.
like
no question.
that part hurt.
Run the ball more in the second half, you might win the game.
The field goals, but Shanahan, like they all have warts.
Yeah.
But you're right, like a trustworthy. And when let me tell you something, Shanahan with time.
Yeah. Seems like the Jets had a lot of warts with the coaching
yes, they did.
and the scheme as well.